I'm standing in a small, mirrored room at Stanford University. My black graduation gown brushing against my knees. The cap sits a little too snug on my head, and I adjust it for the third time. Catching my reflection, my eyes are bright, my makeup subtle but perfect. Thanks to Mia's insistence on hiring a professional for today. At 29, I'm about to walk across the stage to receive my master's degree in computer science. This moment, it's everything I've worked for. Years of late nights, coding until my fingers ached, chasing scholarships to prove I was enough. But there's a weight in my chest, heavy and cold, that no degree can lift. I check my phone again. The screen is blank. No missed calls, no texts. Not from mom, not from dad, not even from Natalie, my older sister. It's the 10th time I've looked in the last 15 minutes. And each glance feels like a tiny cut. They're not coming, are they? My fingers tremble as I set the phone down on the table. Next to the bouquet of lilies Mia brought me. The flowers are beautiful, but they can't fill the emptiness I'm trying so hard to ignore. A soft knock pulls me out of my thoughts. It's Helen, the ceremony coordinator. Her gray hair pulled back in a neat bun. Her smile kind but tinged with worry. "Lila, it's almost time," she says gently. "Are you ready?" I nod, but my eyes drift to the window overlooking the auditorium. Rows of chairs stretch out below, filled with families, friends, proud faces. The string quartet plays a soft melody, and the air hums with anticipation. But in the front row, where I reserved 4 seats I begged them to take, I see nothing but empty space. 4 chairs, staring back at me like a silent accusation. I swallow hard, my throat tight. They're not coming, are they? My voice cracks, betraying the calm I'm trying to hold on to. Helen's smile falters, just for a second. "There's still time," she says, but her eyes tell me she knows the truth. They're not coming. I smooth the folds of my gown, the fabric cool under my fingers, and take a deep breath. "Let's go," I say, forcing the words out. The auditorium doors open, and I step forward, alone. The weight of 100 gazes lands on me, some curious, some sympathetic. I can feel them whispering, their hands covering their mouths as they lean toward each other. "Where's her family?" I imagine them saying. "Why is she walking alone?" My best friend, Mia, gives me a small wave from the crowd, her eyes fierce with support. But it's not enough to drown out the hollow ache growing inside me. Each step down the aisle feels heavier, like I'm carrying the absence of my family on my shoulders. 3 days ago, I called Mom, my voice shaking as I begged. "Please, Mom, it's my graduation. I'll pay for the flights, the hotel, anything, just come." Her response was sharp, dismissive, like she was turning down a coffee date. "We're busy, Lila. Natalie's got a big charity event for her company that weekend. You know how important her work is." In the background, I heard Dad's voice, gruff and impatient. "Tell her we'll send a card." A card. For my master's degree. For the moment I've poured my soul into. I force my chin up, my eyes locking on the stage ahead. Evan, my fiancé, is there in the crowd, his steady gaze anchoring me. He's not in the front row, those seats were for them, but his presence is enough to keep me moving. One step, another. I will not cry. I will not let them take this moment from me. Not today. When I reach the stage, Mia's there, slipping her arm through mine before I can climb the steps. "You're a rock star, Lila," she whispers, her voice fierce and warm. "You don't need them to shine." Her words wrap around me like a hug. And for a moment, I believe her. But then my phone buzzes in my pocket, and I make the mistake of looking. A text from Natalie, just 4 words, "Congrats. But don't expect us." It's like a punch to the gut. Stealing my breath, I slip the phone back into my pocket, my hands shaking, and step onto the stage. The applause is loud, but all I can hear is the silence of those empty chairs. As I stand on that stage, the weight of Natalie's text still burning in my pocket. I'm not just 29-year-old Lila Bennett, master's degree in hand. I'm 12 again, standing in the living room of our old house in Seattle, clutching a science fair ribbon that feels like the biggest thing in the world. The memory hits me hard, pulling me back to a time when I still believed I could make them see me. Our house was always loud with Natalie's achievements. My sister, 3 years older, was the golden child. Her debate trophies lined the mantel like little soldiers, polished weekly by Mom. Her report cards, all A's, were taped to the fridge for relatives to admire. I didn't mind at first. Natalie was brilliant, confident, the kind of person who walked into a room and owned it. But I wanted to shine too, even if my light was quieter, softer. That day, when I was 12, I'd run home from school, my ribbon clutched tight, first place in the district science fair for my project on renewable energy. My teacher, Mrs. Larson, had hugged me, said I had a mind for innovation. I couldn't wait to tell Mom and Dad. I burst through the front door, words tumbling out. Look, I won. Mrs. Larson says I could be an engineer one day. Mom barely glanced up from the stove, stirring a pot of marinara. That's nice, Lila, she said, her voice flat, distracted. Set the table, will you? Natalie's got her big debate tonight. I stood there, frozen, the ribbon limp in my hand. Dad was on the phone in the next room, laughing about Natalie's latest speech. She's going places, he said to whoever was listening. A real star. I waited until dinner, thinking maybe they'd ask about my project. They didn't. Instead, they spent the meal planning Natalie's debate trip to Portland. My ribbon ended up in a drawer, next to old grocery lists and forgotten birthday cards. It wasn't just that day. It was every day. My art projects, my piano recitals, my straighter report cards, they were all nice. But never enough. When I was 14, I spent weeks building a model wind turbine for a state competition. I got second place, and Mrs. Larson came to the award ceremony, clapping so hard her hands must have stung. Mom and Dad? They were at Natalie's college scholarship banquet. She needs our support, Dad explained later, ruffling my hair like I was still a toddler. You're doing fine, Lila. You don't need us hovering. Fine. That word stung more than any criticism. It was code for invisible. Natalie's successes were celebrated with framed certificates and family dinners. Mine were met with nods, quick smiles, and a quick change of subject. Why can't you be more like your sister? Mom said once, when I was 16 and sulking after they missed my photography exhibit. Natalie focuses on what matters, her career, her future. You're always daydreaming. I tried harder after that. I studied harder, coded late into the night. Won scholarships to college. Each achievement was a quiet plea, see me, please, but it was never enough. When I got into Stanford for my master's, I called home, my heart pounding with hope. That's great, honey, Mom said, but I could hear her flipping through papers in the background. Natalie just closed a big deal at her firm. We're throwing her a party this weekend. Dad chimed in, you'll be fine. Lila, you always are. Fine. There it was again. I was fine, so they didn't need to show up. Fine, so they could skip my high school graduation, my college commencement, my first coding competition win. Fine, so they could leave 4 chairs empty at the biggest moment of my life. Standing on that Stanford stage, the applause ringing in my ears, I feel that 12-year-old girl inside me, still holding that ribbon, still waiting for someone to care. But then I see Mia in the crowd, her hands cupped around her mouth, cheering louder than anyone. I see Dr. Claire Nguyen, my advisor, standing at the edge of the stage, her eyes shining with pride. You did this, Lila, she'd told me yesterday, when I showed her my final thesis. Not because of anyone else, but because of you. Their voices pull me back to the present, reminding me that I've built something real, something mine. I grip my diploma tighter, my knuckles white, and force a smile. This moment belongs to me, not to the family who couldn't be bothered to show up. As I step off the stage, Mia's waiting, her arms open wide. You're unstoppable, she says, pulling me into a hug. I want to believe her, but that old ache still lingers, sharp and stubborn. Natalie's text, congrats, but don't expect us, flashes in my mind, and I wonder if I'll ever stop hoping for something different. For now, though, I let Mia's warmth anchor me. I let the crowd's applause fill the empty spaces, and I tell myself, one more time, that I'm enough. As Mia's arms wrap around me, her words, you're unstoppable, echo in my mind, a lifeline pulling me away from that 12-year-old girl still clutching her science fair ribbon. I step off the Stanford stage, diploma in hand, and let the crowd's cheers wash over me. For a moment, I can almost forget the 4 empty chairs. The sting of Natalie's text. Almost, but there's something new stirring inside me. A quiet resolve. I've spent years chasing my family's approval. But maybe, just maybe, I don't need it to keep going. The auditorium buzzes with families hugging. Cameras flashing. Voices overlapping in celebration. I spot Dr. Claire Nguyen, my advisor, weaving through the crowd toward me. Her gray-streaked braid swings as she moves. And her smile is wide. Genuine. Lila, I'm so proud of you, she says, pulling me into a hug that feels like home. This degree? It's just the beginning. You're going to change the world. Her words hit me hard. Not because they're grand, but because she means them. She's seen me at my lowest, doubting my code, my ideas, myself, and she's always believed in me. Unlike my parents. Unlike Natalie. Mia drags me to a group of classmates. And we take photos, laughing as we toss our caps in the air. Evan's there too, his dark eyes steady on mine. His hand finding my elbow like he knows I need grounding. You did it, he whispers, his voice low and warm. And I'm here for every step after this. Evan's not just my fiancé, he's my anchor. The one who's never made me feel like I have to earn his attention. His parents, standing nearby, wave me over. Lila, you're one of us now. His mom, Diane, says, her arms open wide. Her hug is soft, scented with lavender, and it loosens something tight in my chest. That night, at a small dinner with Evan, Mia, and a few friends, I feel something new, a sense of belonging. Mia raises her glass, her eyes sparkling, to Lila, who built this moment from nothing. Despite the people who didn't show up, the table erupts in cheers. And I laugh, but my throat catches. They see me, these people, my friends, my mentor, Evan's family, they see me in a way my own family never has. 3 years later, I'm 32, sitting in a sleek office in San Francisco, staring at a computer screen that confirms everything I've worked for. My startup, BrightPath, just closed a funding round, valuing the company at $25 million. We're building tech to make education accessible, online platforms that connect underserved students to resources. It's the kind of work that keeps me up at night. Not from stress, but from excitement. My team, a tight-knit group of 12, bursts through the door with sparkling cider and paper cups. To Lila, James, my lead developer, shouts, raising his cup, the woman who turned a dream into an empire while her family was busy elsewhere. I laugh, clinking cups with them, but his words sting a little. My family, I haven't heard from them since the graduation. Not a single call or text. Not even a card. Despite Dad's promise, I've stopped checking my phone for their names. But the silence still hurts. Like a bruise that fades but never quite disappears. I push the thought away and focus on the people in front of me. James, who stayed up with me debugging code at 3 a.m. Mia, who's been my cheerleader since college. My team, who show up every day. Not just for the work, but for me. Evan and I got engaged last year. And his family threw us a party that felt like something out of a dream. His mom baked a cake. His dad gave a speech about love and partnership. And his little cousins ran around with sparklers. I kept waiting for the moment to feel incomplete. For the absence of my own family to creep in. But it didn't. Evan's hand in mine. His family's laughter. Mia's teasing toast about my terrible cooking, it was enough. More than enough. At the office, we're planning a launch event for BrightPath's new platform. Mia, now my marketing lead, is pitching ideas, her enthusiasm infectious. This is going to change lives. Lila, she says, her eyes bright. Kids who've never had a chance, they're going to get one because of you. I nod, but my mind drifts to a memory of myself at 15. Teaching myself to code on a borrowed laptop because my parents wouldn't buy me one. Natalie needs a new computer for her finance classes. Mom had said, you can use the library. I did, and I built something bigger than they could ever imagine. That night, Evan and I sit on our apartment balcony, the San Francisco skyline glittering below. He's scrolling through his phone, showing me venues for our wedding next year. My mom's already planning the menu. He says, grinning, she wants you to pick the dessert. I smile, leaning into him. For the first time, I'm starting to believe I don't need my family's approval to feel whole. I've got Evan, Mia, my team, Dr. Clara, who still sends me encouraging emails. I've got people who choose me, who show up, who see me. But late at night, when the apartment is quiet, I check my phone one last time. No messages, no missed calls, just the same silence I've known for years. I set the phone down and close my eyes. Their absence is their choice, not my burden, and for the first time, I'm starting to believe I can let that burden go. As I set my phone down on the balcony, telling myself their silence isn't my burden, a part of me still aches for the family I wish I had. But life moves forward, and so do I 3 years after my graduation. I'm 32, standing in the driveway of my San Francisco apartment, staring at the sleek, silver Tesla Model S I just bought for $150. The sun glints off its curves, and I can't help but smile. This car isn't just a purchase, it's a symbol of everything I've built without them. I snap a photo, the Tesla gleaming against the backdrop of the city, and post it to Instagram with a simple caption, "Living my own dream." I don't think much of it. I'm not posting for them. I'm posting for me. 3 days later, my phone lights up with a name I haven't seen in 4 years, Mom. My stomach twists as I stare at the screen. Susan Bennett, calling. I let it ring, my thumb hovering over the answer button. Why now? After all this time, after no calls, no texts, not even a card for my graduation, why is she reaching out? I let it go to voicemail. But a minute later, a text follows, "Lila. We need to talk. Family meeting. Urgent. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. I laugh. A sharp, bitter sound that surprises even me. A family meeting? After 4 years of nothing? I scroll through my notifications. And there's another message, this time from Natalie. "We need you, Lila. Please come home." Home. The word feels foreign, like it belongs to someone else's story. The house in Seattle, where I grew up invisible, hasn't felt like home in years. But curiosity, and maybe a flicker of that old hope, gets the better of me. I text back, "I'll be there." Evan, sitting across from me at the kitchen table, raises an eyebrow. "You sure about this?" he asks. His voice gentle but laced with concern. "I need to know what they want," I say, my fingers tightening around my coffee mug. "I need to see it for myself." The next morning, I slide into the Tesla. The leather seats cool against my skin. The 40-minute drive to Seattle feels like a journey back in time. I pass the park where I used to ride my bike. The coffee shop where I taught myself to code on a borrowed laptop because Mom said. Natalie needs the new computer for her finance classes. I pass the high school where I graduated alone. My parents at Natalie's first big client pitch instead. Each mile brings back memories I've tried to bury. But the Tesla's quiet hum steadies me. This is my life now. I remind myself. I built it, not them. I pull into the driveway of my childhood home. The colonial house looking smaller than I remember. Its paint peeling at the edges. The Tesla looks out of place here. Too modern, too bold. I sit for a moment. Hands gripping the steering wheel. My heart pounding. The last time I was here was 5 years ago. When I told them about my Stanford acceptance. Mom had nodded politely. Dad had checked his watch. And Natalie had changed the subject to her promotion. They didn't even ask about my program. Why do they want me now? I step out, my boots clicking on the pavement. And before I can knock, the front door swings open. Mom stands there, her face tight with a mix of urgency and something else, calculation. Maybe. Dad's behind her, his shoulders slumped, looking older than I remember. Natalie's there too, her arms crossed, her designer blazer slightly wrinkled. "Lila," Mom says, her voice sharp, like she's calling a meeting to order. "You've done well for yourself." No hello, no hug, just a quick glance at the Tesla parked behind me. We sit at the dining room table. The same one where I used to do homework while they praised Natalie's latest achievement. Dad clears his throat, sliding a folder across the table. "We're in a tough spot. Lila," he says, his voice low. "Natalie's company, it's gone under. The bank's threatening to foreclose on her house. The kids' school fees are overdue." Natalie leans forward, her eyes hard. "We need your help, Lila. You're doing so well. That car, your company, it's clear you've got the means." I stare at them, my breath catching. This is why they called? Not to apologize, not to reconnect, but because they saw the Tesla on Instagram. Because they know about BrightPath's $25 million valuation. You haven't spoken to me in 4 years. I say, my voice quieter than I feel. You didn't come to my graduation. My college commencement. Nothing. And now you want my help? Mom's eyes flicker with guilt. But she recovers quickly. We're family. Lila. Family helps each other. Think of your niece and nephew. Natalie pushes a photo across the table. Her twins smiling in matching school uniforms. They ask about Aunt Lila. She says, her voice softer now, almost pleading. They need you. I look at the photo. My chest tightening. I've never met those kids. Not once. They didn't invite me to their birthdays. Their school plays. And now they're using them to get to me. Dad slides the folder closer. It's just a loan, he says, like it's nothing. We'll pay you back. You're successful now. It's what family does. I sit back, my hands folded in my lap, feeling the weight of their expectation. They didn't show up when I needed them. But now I'm supposed to save them. The Tesla outside, the company I built, the life I created, they only see me now because of what I have. Not who I am. For the first time, I feel a spark of anger. Sharp and clear. And with it, a clarity I've never had before. They don't get to rewrite the story now. Not after all these years. As I sit at that dining room table, the weight of my family's expectations pressing down on me, I feel something shift. The anger sparking in my chest isn't just hurt anymore, it's power. For years, I've let their absence define me. But not today. I'm not the invisible girl they left behind. I'm Lila Bennett, the woman who built a life they never bothered to see. And I'm done waiting for them to care. I lean back in my chair. The photo of Natalie's twins still lying on the table. Their smiles weaponized to pull at my heart. Mom's eyes are fixed on me, sharp with expectation. Dad's hands rest on the loan paperwork, as if it's already a done deal. Natalie sits across from me, her posture stiff, her lips tight. We're counting on you, Lila, she says, her voice laced with a practiced sweetness I haven't heard since we were kids. You've done so well. That Tesla, your company, you've got more than enough to share. I take a slow breath. My fingers steady on the table. Let's get one thing straight. I say, my voice calm but firm, cutting through the room like a blade. You didn't call me for 4 years. You didn't come to my high school graduation, my college commencement, my master's ceremony. You didn't even send a text when I launched BrightPath. And now, because you saw a car on Instagram, I'm suddenly family again? Mom flinches, her hand fluttering to her throat. Lila, that's not fair, she says, her voice catching in that way that used to make me scramble to please her. We've been busy. Natalie's had a lot on her plate, her company. The kids. You've always been so independent. Independent. The word lands like a slap. The same excuse they've used since I was 12. When my science fair ribbon was shoved in a drawer while they celebrated Natalie's debate trophy. Dad clears his throat, his face hardening. This isn't about the past. Lila, this is about now. Your sister's house is 3 months behind on payments. The twins' school fees are overdue. You have the means to help. Family steps up. He slides the folder closer. The loan paperwork glaring up at me. Natalie nods, her eyes narrowing. Think of the kids, Lila. They don't deserve to lose their home because you're holding a grudge. A grudge. The word burns, twisting something deep inside me. I think of those empty chairs at my graduation. The nights I cried myself to sleep. The years I spent proving I was enough. A grudge? No. This is about survival. About protecting the life I've built from the people who only see me when they need something. I stand slowly, my purse still slung over my shoulder, and reach into my briefcase. Their eyes follow my hands, expectant, assuming I'm pulling out a checkbook. Instead, I place a single document on the table. This, I say, my voice steady, is the announcement for the Claren Wynn Scholarship Fund. $18 million to support young women in tech, girls from underserved communities who've been overlooked. Just like I was, I pause, letting the number sink in. Mom's mouth opens, then closes. Dad's eyebrows shoot up. Natalie's face twists, her composure cracking. 18 million? She chokes out, her voice sharp with disbelief. You're giving that kind of money to strangers? Not strangers, I say, tapping the document. Girls who deserve a chance. Girls who remind me of myself. Who had to fight to be seen. Named after Dr. Claren Nguyen, my advisor. Who showed up when you didn't. I look at each of them, Mom. Dad. Natalie, my gaze unflinching. The money is locked in a foundation trust. Legally protected. The board signed off last week. It's done. Silence falls, heavy and thick, like the air before a storm. Natalie's face flushes red, her hands clenching into fists. You're wasting it, she snaps, on nobody girls who don't mean anything. When your own family is drowning. Dad leans forward, his voice low, almost pleading. Lila, think about your niece and nephew. They're innocent in this. Mom's eyes well up, her voice trembling. We're your family. Lila, how can you turn your back on us? I don't sit down. I don't waver. Where were you? I ask, my voice quiet but sharp. Where were you at my graduation? My company launch? Every milestone I begged you to care about? I tap the table with each word, my anger rising. You missed my entire life. And now you want to share in what I've built? I pause, my heart pounding. You don't get to do that. Natalie slams her hand on the table, her voice breaking. You've always been like this. Lila, always trying to prove you're better than me. I'm fighting for my kids. And you're playing savior to strangers? Her words sting, but they don't shake me. Not anymore. I reach into my purse and pull out my phone, turning the screen toward them. A recording app blinks, the timer ticking at 14:32. I've recorded every word of this. I say softly, every demand, every guilt trip, just in case you get any ideas about challenging the foundation. Mom gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. Dad's face hardens, but there's a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. And then, the twist. I slide another document across the table. One I've been holding back. There's something else you should know. I say, my voice steady as steel. I hired a private investigator to look into Natalie's finances. I know about the offshore account. Natalie, the one you used to hide money from your creditors while your company went under. Natalie's face goes pale, her eyes wide with shock. You wouldn't, she whispers. I won't, I say, standing taller. Not unless you force my hand. But I'm done being manipulated. This meeting is over. I pick up my briefcase. My footsteps echoing in the stunned silence. Natalie's chair scrapes back, her voice cracking. You can't just walk away. We're family. I pause at the door, my hand on the knob. Family shows up, I say, not looking back. You never did. I step outside, the cool Seattle air hitting my face like a cleansing wave. I slide into my Tesla, the engine purring to life, and drive away without a glance in the rearview mirror. My phone buzzes, Evan's name on the screen. You okay? He texts. I smile, my hands steady on the wheel. Better than ever, I text back, and for the first time in years. I mean it. As I drive away from my childhood home, the Tesla's quiet hum drowning out the echo of Natalie's desperate voice. I feel lighter than I ever have. The Seattle skyline fades in my rearview mirror. And for the first time, I'm not running from my family's rejection. I'm choosing to walk away. My phone buzzes again, Evan. Checking in. You okay? He asks when I call him back. My voice steady through the car's speakers. I'm free, I say, a smile tugging at my lips. They showed exactly who they are. And I'm done carrying their weight. But freedom, I learn quickly, doesn't mean they'll let go. The next morning, my phone lights up with a voicemail from Mom. Her voice is shaky, tearful, the kind that used to pull me back into trying to fix things. Lila, how could you do this to us? We're family. We need you. I delete it before she finishes. By noon, there's a letter in my mailbox. Mom's elegant handwriting on the envelope. We've always loved you, it reads, as if those words can erase years of empty chairs and forgotten milestones. I don't finish reading it. The letter goes into the shredder, its edges curling like the lies it holds. Natalie tries next, sending a video through email. It's her twins, their small voices reading from a script I know they didn't write. We miss you, Aunt Lila, please help us. My stomach twists, not because I believe them, but because I can't believe she'd use her kids like this. I forward the email to my lawyer, Sarah, with a note. Document this. Sarah calls me an hour later. They're desperate, she says, her voice calm but firm. I've drafted a cease and desist letter. Any more of this, and we'll escalate. I nod, even though she can't see me. Do it, I say. I'm done playing their game. By the end of the week, Natalie takes it further. She calls one of my investors, a woman named Rachel who believed in Brightpath from the start. I get a text from Rachel that evening. Your sister tried to spin a sob story about family betrayal. Don't worry, I shut it down. I laugh, a mix of relief and disbelief. Rachel adds, she didn't mention missing your graduation. Funny how that works. I thank her, my fingers typing fast, but inside, I'm seething. They're not just coming for my money, they're trying to rewrite the story. To paint me as the villain. Then the Portland Tribune runs a piece. It's not about me, not directly, but a local reporter digs into Natalie's failed company, mentioning family tensions and how her parents missed key events in their younger daughter's life. The article doesn't name me, but the comments section does. Sounds like the sister they ignored is the one who made it big. One reader writes, typical, only showing up when there's money involved. I don't know how the story leaked. But I don't care. The truth is out there. And for once, it's not my job to carry the shame. Back at Brightpath, my team rallies around me. Mia notices the tension in my shoulders and pulls me aside. You don't have to deal with them alone, she says, her eyes fierce with loyalty. We're your family now. James, my lead developer, overhears and chimes in. Yeah, and we're better at celebrating than they ever were. He grins, holding up a mock-up of our new platform. One that's already getting buzz in the tech world. Their support grounds me, reminds me of what I've built. Not just a company, but a community. People who show up. Evan's waiting for me at home that night. A pizza box open on the counter. His laptop glowing with wedding venue options. My mom's obsessed with finding the perfect cake. He says, pulling me into a hug. She wants your input. I lean into him, the warmth of his arms erasing the chill of my family's manipulation. Let's pick something chocolate, I say, and we laugh, the sound filling our small apartment. It's a moment of normalcy, of joy, and I hold onto it tightly. But the attempts don't stop. A week later, Mom sends a text. We're hosting a family dinner. Please come, we miss you. I don't respond. Then Natalie tries social media, posting a photo of her twins at a park. The caption reading, family means everything. Wish Aunt Lila felt the same. The comments are brutal, not for me, but for her. Where were you when she graduated? One person writes. Hypocrite, says another. I don't engage, but I screenshot everything, sending it to Sarah. Add this to the file. I write. I meet with my therapist, Dr. Patel. The next day, we sit in her cozy office. A mug of chamomile tea between us. How does it feel, holding these boundaries? She asks. Her eyes steady. I trace the rim of my cup. Thinking, it's heavy, I admit, but it's also liberating. They're fighting so hard because they're losing control. And I'm not giving it back. She nods, a small smile breaking through. You're not just protecting yourself, Lila, you're rewriting what family means for you. That night, I draft an email to Mom, Dad, and Natalie, copying Sarah. Any further attempts to contact me outside of my lawyer will be considered harassment. I write. I've documented everything, voicemails, letters, videos, social media. This stops now. I hit send, my heart racing but my hands steady. Evan reads it over my shoulder, his hand resting on my back. You're doing the right thing, he says softly. You're choosing you. As I close my laptop, I feel the weight of their absence lift just a little more. They can't touch what I've built, not my company, not my peace. Not the life I'm creating with the people who actually see me. For the first time, I'm not afraid of their silence. I'm not afraid of their noise either. I'm just done. As I close my laptop, the weight of that email to my family settling like a final chord. I feel a quiet strength growing inside me. I'm not just done with their manipulation, I'm ready to build something bigger. Something that matters. The San Francisco skyline sparkles outside my window. And I know I'm not running from the past anymore. I'm moving toward a future I've chosen, surrounded by people who choose me back. The Claren Wynn Scholarship Fund launches a month later, and it's everything I dreamed it would be. $18 million, locked in a trust. to support young women in tech who've been overlooked. Just like I was. The first recipient is Sophia, an 18-year-old from Oakland with a knack for app design and a story that cuts close to my own. Her application essay made me pause when I read it. My family told me coding was a waste of time, that I should get a real job. But I kept going because I wanted to prove them wrong. I see myself in her, the quiet determination, the weight of being invisible. When we meet, her eyes are guarded, but there's a spark there, a fire I recognize. Lila, you're really doing this? Sophia asks at our first mentoring session, her laptop open to a prototype of an app that helps low-income students find scholarships. We're in the BrightPath office, sunlight streaming through the windows, my team buzzing around us. I'm all in, I tell her, smiling, and so are you. Her shoulders relax, and she starts talking, her ideas spilling out faster than her words. Watching her, I feel a swell of pride, not for myself, but for her. This is what the foundation is about, giving girls like Sophia a chance to shine when no one else sees them. The launch event for the foundation is electric. We hold it at a community center in San Francisco. The room packed with supporters, tech leaders, and reporters. Mia's planned every detail, from the sleek banners to the video showcasing Sophia's project. Rachel, my investor, gives a speech about believing in visionaries like me. Evan's in the front row, his grin wide, his parents beside him clapping like I'm their own daughter. There are no empty chairs tonight, no hollow spaces in my heart. Dr. Clara Nguyen herself flies in from Stanford, her eyes misty as she hugs me. You're building a legacy, Lila, she whispers, not just for you, but for all of them. A week later, I'm standing at the podium of the San Francisco Tech Summit, accepting the Women in Tech Leadership Award. The auditorium is full, a sea of faces turned toward me, their applause warm and genuine. Evan's in the front row again, his pride so bright it feels like a spotlight. Mia's there too, snapping photos like a proud mom. My team from BrightPath takes up half a row, cheering louder than anyone. I grip the award, its weight solid in my hands, and look out at them. This isn't just my story, I say into the microphone, my voice steady. It's for every girl who's been told she's not enough, who's been ignored, who's had to fight to be seen. We're here, and we're building something unstoppable. The applause washes over me, and I feel it, a peace I didn't know was possible. Dr. Patel, my therapist, calls it post-traumatic growth, this strange calm that comes from turning pain into purpose. I think of Sophia, working late in the BrightPath office, her app taking shape. I think of the other scholarship applicants, their essays piling up on my desk, each one a story of resilience. I'm not just healing myself, I'm helping them heal too. And that feels bigger than any award, any dollar amount, any car in my driveway. Back at home, Evan and I plan our wedding, now just months away. His mom sends us cake samples, and we spend an evening laughing over chocolate versus vanilla, the kind of simple joy I never had growing up. Mia throws us a surprise engagement party, and the BrightPath team shows up with ridiculous gifts, a coding-themed coffee mug, a tiny Tesla model for our mantle. I look around at their faces, at Evan's hand in mine, and I realize this is what family looks like. Not obligation, not manipulation, but people who show up because they want to, because they see me. The foundation grows faster than I expected. Applications pour in, and we start a mentorship program, pairing recipients with women in tech who've walked their path. Sophia's app launches to rave reviews, and she texts me late one night, I wouldn't be here without you. I save that message, reading it when the old doubts creep in. Because they do, sometimes, not about my family, they've gone quiet. Their attempts fizzling after my lawyer's letter, but about whether I'm doing enough. Whether I'm enough. Sophia's words, and the faces of the other girls we're helping, remind me that I am. A local news channel runs a story about the foundation, highlighting Sophia's app and the mission behind it. The reporter, a woman named Elena, asks me what inspired me. I pause, thinking of those empty chairs, the science fair ribbon, the years of silence. I had people who believed in me when my family didn't. I say, my voice soft but clear. Dr. Clara Nguyen saw something in me, and I want to pay that forward. Elena nods, her pen still. Your family must be proud now. she says, and I smile, a little sadly. My success isn't about them, I say. It's about the people who showed up. As the foundation takes off, I feel the pieces of myself coming together. The girl who begged for approval is still there. But she's quieter now, surrounded by voices that lift her up. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm thriving, building a legacy that's mine, not theirs. And for the first time, I know that's enough. As the news story about the Claren Wynn Scholarship Fund plays on my laptop, Sophia's app glowing on the screen, I feel a quiet certainty settle in my bones. I'm no longer the girl who stood alone at her graduation, clutching a diploma and a fading hope for her family's approval. I'm Lila Bennett, 33 now, building a life that's mine, surrounded by people who see me for who I am. And that, I'm learning, is more than enough. A year after the confrontation in Seattle, I'm back in the city for a tech conference. Evan and I decide to grab coffee at a small shop downtown. The kind with mismatched chairs and the smell of roasted beans. As we wait for our order, I spot them through the window, Mom and Dad, walking side by side on the sidewalk. They look older, their steps slower, Mom's scarf fluttering in the breeze. Our eyes meet for a moment, and I brace myself for the familiar ache. But it doesn't come. There's no pain, no longing, just a calm acknowledgement. They taught me what love isn't. Evan and my chosen family taught me what it is. They approach the coffee shop, and I tense, my hand tightening around my cup. Evan notices, his fingers brushing mine. You've got this, he says softly. Mom and Dad step inside. Their faces a mix of hesitation and something like regret. Lila, Dad says, his voice cracking, we should have been there. Your graduation, your milestones. We got it wrong. Mom's eyes are wet, her voice barely a whisper. How can we fix this? 3 months ago, I might have leapt at those words, desperate for any scrap of acknowledgement. But now, I see them clearly. Their regret feels real. But it's late, too late to erase the years of silence. I sip my coffee, the warmth grounding me. Some things can't be fixed, I say, my voice steady. They can only be accepted. I'm open to limited contact, but only if you both start therapy. That's my boundary. Dad's mouth tightens, the old stubbornness rising. Therapy's not necessary, he starts, but I cut him off. It's non-negotiable, I say, standing to leave. Take it or leave it. They don't follow me as I walk out. Evan's hand in mine, I slide into the Tesla. The familiar hum of the engine a reminder of how far I've come. As we drive through Seattle, I feel no urge to look back. My life is ahead of me. Not in that coffee shop. Not in their apologies. The foundation is waiting. Sophia's next project needs feedback. And Evan's planning a dinner with his family tonight. That's where I belong. Back at the BrightPath office, I'm mentoring Sophia, watching her tweak the code for her app's next update. The office is alive with energy, my team brainstorming, laughter spilling from the break room. Sophia looks up from her laptop, her eyes bright. You really think I can do this? She asks. A hint of doubt in her voice. I think of Dr. Claren Wynn, who saw me when I was Sophia's age, who believed in me when my family didn't. I know you can, I say, resting a hand on her shoulder. You're already doing it. A few weeks later, I'm at the Portland Arts Center, accepting a Community Impact Award for the foundation. The room is packed, no empty chairs in sight. Evan's in the front row, his smile as bright as the stage lights. Mia's beside him, snapping photos, and my team cheers like they're at a rock concert. I step to the podium, my heart full. This journey started in silence, I say, my voice clear. Invisibility. For years, I measured my worth by the approval I couldn't win. Now, I measure it by what we build together, by the voices we lift up, the dreams we make possible. The standing ovation feels like a wave, cleansing and whole. As I step off the stage, Sophia hugs me, her eyes shining. You're why I believe in myself, she says, and I feel the cycle turning, not of neglect, but of support, of healing. Later, at home, Evan and I host a dinner for our chosen family. The table is crowded with Mia, James, Rachel, and Sophia, laughter filling the air. There's no judgment here, no need to prove my worth. This is family, not by blood, but by choice. And the lesson? It's simple, but it took me years to learn. Family isn't defined by who raises you, but by who lifts you up. It's the people who show up, who see you, who stay through the storms. My parents and Natalie taught me what I didn't want: conditional love, manipulation, absence. Evan, Mia, Clara, Sophia, and my team showed me what I deserve: unconditional support, joy, belief. You don't have to carry the weight of those who won't carry you. Let them go, and build your own family. One that sees your light. That's where healing begins. That's where you find home.